Ivor the Engine, the first story, by Oliver Postgate and Peter Vernon. Not very long ago, in the top left-hand corner of Wales, there was a railway. It wasn't a very long railway, or very important railway, but it was called the Merrimack and Lattersley Rail Co. Limited, and it was all there was. Under the shed in the siding at the end of the railway lived the locomotive of the Merrimack and Lattersley Rail Co. Limited, which was a long name for a little engine, so his friends just called him Ivor. Now, in the morning, Jones the Demon and the driver were coming down over the hill. "Morning, Ivor. Jumping cold this morning." Then Jones would light Ivor's fire, fill up his coal box, and then, when Ivor's boiling was boiling, he would make a pot of tea. Then, when he had finished his tea, Jones's tea would climb onto the footplate, open Ivor's regulator, and out they would trundle, out of the shed and out into the bright morning air. Jumping coal it was through that morning, but bright as a pin, and Ivor felt glad to be alive and steaming. Down to the cinder box, there was trouble as it was at a go they couldn't go past. "Oh, it's on a week yet, Ivor," said Jones to steam. "Give him a blow." When Ivor's whistled, Owen jumped out of bed. "Is it over that, Jones the Dame?" "No, it's that you are anything. I'll pull you to leave it back. We got work to do." Up went the signal. Off they went up the hill and down to Lanlock Station. There was Di Station, the station master. "What is there for us today, Di?" "Coal for Grumbly Gasworks, and there's parts of the fish for Mrs. Thomas at Grumbly. You know, if you wouldn't mind." "I know. I'll take it with Ivor." I wouldn't do that. She wanted fresh, not fried." "Alright then, I'll put it on the coal. She can have the black. Couple up the truck with me, Di." "Right away then, Jones. See you later, Ivor." Off they went to do their day's work, out of Lanlock Station and along the top of the hill towards Sunny Coach. That was Ivor's favourite run. He loved to look down at the valley and see the trees and the stone walls and the horses, see the big pit of the wheels spinning, and far away in the bright morning sun, the sea. Clobberty over the viaduct, through Tanny Gooch, past Mrs. Figgins the Trappers, past the Working Men's Club, past Mrs. Jenkins the builder and decorator with a lattice on the house, and into the tunnel, the dark, damp, smelly tunnel on the way to Grumbly. By the time they had delivered the coal to the gasworks, it was late in the afternoon. Jones left Ivor on the siding above the town and went down to take Mrs. Thomas her parcel of fish. It wasn't dirty except for the paper, so it didn't matter. Ivor stood there on the siding in the quiet summer evening. He felt tired and drowsy. Then he heard singing. Oh, it was lovely singing. It was the Grumbly District Coal Society, practicing in a congregational hall. Ivor listened, and it seemed to him as though the hills and the valleys, the streams and the trees and the gasworks were all singing together, singing their praises to the golden evening sun. Ivor listened until they were finished, and then he stood there in the silence, remembering what he had heard. "Are you asleep, Ivor?" asked Jones. "Time to go home." And all the way home, Ivor remembered the singing of the choir, and he wished, oh how he wished, that he could sing with them. The next day, Jones's D went to the station master's office at Lanlock. "Di," he said, "I'm worried about Ivor. I have plenty of steam and a good fire going, but he's just not pulling right." "Well, there's only one thing we can do about that," said Di Station. "Take him to see the chief engineer at Pontypool Roads." "What? Out on the main line?" "Ivor's never been on the main line." "Oh, I expect he'll be all right if we both go with him." It was a long way to Pontypool Roads, and Ivor felt very nervous and important as he jogged along the main line. He was a bit puzzled by all the signals on a big gantry, but the signalman came out and waved him to the great engine shed, where the chief engineer and his assistants were waiting to inspect him. They undid his boiler door and blew through his tubes. They took his pistons apart, tested his valves, and tapped his little wheels with a hammer, but they could not find anything wrong with him. Not anything at all. The chief engineer looked puzzled. "That is a perfectly good little engine," he said. "There is nothing wrong with him. It's my belief he is upset. You haven't spoken harshly to him or blamed him for something he didn't do, have you?" "Oh, no, sir, we wouldn't do that," said Jones and Dye. "Well, you had better take him home and find out what upset him. There is nothing wrong with Ivor's works." So they took Ivor home. The next day, Jones and Dye decided to try an experiment. Jones took the coal to Grumbly Gasworks as usual, and left Ivor on the siding above the town just as he'd done 2 days before. Then he went down into the town, not to take Mrs. Thomas some fish, but to meet Dye Station, who had come over on his bicycle. "What is this all about?" asked Dye. "I left Ivor on the siding about this time of day before yesterday," explained Jones, "and ever since then he hasn't been well. So I thought we could try it again." "Listen," said Dye. "The choir is singing." "My wife's brother-in-law is choir master," said Jones proudly. "There's distinction now," said Dye, "and don't they sing lovely? Listen." They listened. And up on the siding Ivor listened, and thought it was as beautiful as the last time. More than ever he wished he could sing with them, but he knew he never could. He was only a railway engine and couldn't speak, let alone sing. The only noise he could make was just a silly little whistle, and as he thought about it, he wept. A single dirty tear welled up in his window and fell onto the sleepers. "Look, Dye," whispered Jones. "Ivor is weeping." "Oh, so he is," said Dye. "It must be a terrible thing that will make a railway engine weep." Jones was sitting sat on Ivor's step. "Now then, Ivor Bach, we'll have a guessing game," he said. "1 whistle for no, 2 whistles for yes. Are you tired? Is it this place you don't like? Is it to do with the singing? It is, right. We're getting somewhere. Is it... Oh, I can't think of anything else, Dye. Is it you want to sing in the choir? Asked Dye. Oh, be quiet, Ivor. You'll wake the whole town, explained Jones. Oh, Dye, there's a strange thing now. Ivor wants to sing in the choir. Dye looked doubtful. I've never heard of a locomotive singing in the choir, he said. There may be regulations. Well, I don't know, said Jones. I think we'd better go and fetch Evans the Song and ask him. So Jones and Steve went to fetch Evans the Song, who was choirmaster, and Jones' wife's brother-in-law as well. Evans the Song listened to Ivor's whistle. Evans the Song scratched his head. Oh dear, he said. That's a minor heart tone, and a bit crude if I say so. I don't suppose we should come across that note more than once a year, if that. I mean, it might be really useful for a Chinese choir, but not for the Grumbly Anti-Stick Choral Society. I'm sorry, gentlemen. He turned to go. Mind you, he added, if there was a good, ordinary bass note, that would be different. We're a bit thin in the bass since Elliott the fisherman went to university. Well, of course, that was really disappointing. But Jones and Steve at Nye Station did not give up hope. The next day, they went to see Mr. Jenkins the builder, and he took them to see Mr. Morgan of Morgan's Amusements. Mr. Morgan had an old steam organ that was once on his roundabout, but he was not willing to sell it without knowing what would happen to it. Amazon says that Ivor might be able to join the choir at Grumbly if he has proper pipes to blow instead of his whistle, explained Jones's team. Ah, no, that's something different, said Mr. Morgan. He went to speak to Ivor. Ivor, he said, you could have the pipes of my old steam organ as a present. It was a fine organ, a famous organ, and it cost me a lot of money 70 years ago. So look after it. Blow gently. And God bless you. Mr. Morgan wiped away a tear and went back to his funfair. They took Ivor and the pipes back to Lanyog and Mog the plumber fitted the 3 of the organ pipes in place of Ivor's whistle. "Now, Ivor," said Jones to him, "give us a blow, but like this," the Morgan said, "blow very gently." "There's resonance for you now," cried Mog the plumber. "Gentlemen," said Dyke Station solemnly, "we have succeeded. On behalf of the Maroff and Latticey Rail Trust and Company Limited, I thank you." From then on, everything went fairly easy. Mr. Song brought Mr. Davies, the president of the Choral Society, to hear Ivor's pipes. He was delighted. "Oh, very good indeed. Ivor will be a credit to the choir. Such good tone, too. I haven't heard of a steam organ like that for years. It's nearly as good as Mr. Morgan's old roundabout." "Well, as a matter of fact," began Jones, and then a terrible thought struck him. What about head office? Here they were arranging Ivor to join the choir, and he hadn't asked permission. He ran into the office. "Oh, Di!" he shouted. "What about head office?" "Oh, that's all right, Jones Bach," said Di calmly. "I telephoned them this morning. Mr. Williams says Ivor is welcome to join the choir as long as he does his work too, and the company will pay the subscription." "Oh, Di, you're a 7 days wonder," shouted Jones, and he danced out to tell Ivor. "Well, Mr. Ivor the Engine Bah, how does it feel to be a member of the Choral Society?" sang Ivor. That day's work passed in no time, and soon it was evening, and Jones and Ivor were heading over the viaduct towards Scrubley, and for Ivor's first choir practice. Ivor suddenly felt a funny feeling in his boiler. Oh, quite nervous he was. They pulled through Bromley Station and rolled onto the siding. There stood a group of people, and they were all smiling so friendly that Ivor quite forgot to feel nervous. Mr. Song spoke to the gathering. "Ladies, gentlemen," he said, "it is my pleasure to introduce a new member, Ivor the Engine. Bass." "There you are, like I told you. He's only got 3 notes, but he sings those beautiful. Now let us sing." Mr. Song conducted. They stood there in the quiet evening, and they sang. And Ivor sang with them, very softly at first because they were new pipes and he wasn't used to them yet. But it was wonderful, just as wonderful as the first day he heard the choir. And Ivor sang with them, just as he had dreamed about, but thought he never would. Jones's team was there, of course, and how proud he was of his little engine. So was Dyke Station, Mr. Jenkins, Bob the plumber, and old Mr. Morgan, the roundabout were all there. And standing at the back of the crowd was a tall gentleman in a top hat, Mr. Williams, the head office, come all the way from Manorth in his Rolls Royce, just to hear his locomotive sing in the choir. And to end this video off, I would just like to say thank you all so much for watching this, and for your support. I'm thinking of making a little something. Take it away, video!
Ivor the engine. There he is, look, trundling along the loop line above the quarry.